Good morning and welcome to another Trash Talk podcast. Today we have some pretty important announcements for our channel and for that one game that drives our channel for the most part these days. And we're going to start with that is Hearthstone, because we had some important information announced concerning both the Year of the Raven and the involved expansions, right? The involving expansions and the ones that are rotating out of standard over the last few weeks. That information has been released. Now, please keep in mind that at the point of you watching this podcast, the information that we have right now might not be completely up to date with the one that's out right now. So the point we're watching, we will present to you everything we know right now in terms of new stuff in Hearthstone.
Yes. So
how are you doing, JJ? First of all,
I'm doing fine.
It's great. Great. Wonderful.
So, what we know thus far is basically the first post they made about the Year of the Raven. With all the announced changes, we don't know anything about the actual expansion sets except for that one picture, which kind of teases what it might be.
We can get into guessing some stuff.
But let's talk about that in the end and actually the stuff we actually know first of all.
Right. So, the Hall maybe first?
Actually, what I didn't write down, the sets that are rotating out.
Okay,
it's Old Gods, Gadgetzan, and Karazhan.
Yes, that is true.
I should say Whispers of the Old Gods,
Mean
One
Street,
Night in Karazhan, and Mean Streets of
Gadgetzan.
Gadgetzan.
That means we will be saying goodbye to, name a bunch of cards. Patches the Pirate.
Everything Jade.
Jade.
Everything Old Gods, of course, so
Cthulhu, no
Yasharaj,
Zoth anymsure.
Yogg-Saron.
Not that Yogg's run that much anymore.
Well, fair.
I already said, Karazhan has some cards like Nether's by the Historian. The Dirty Rat's gonna rotate out. That's from Gadgetzan.
Yes.
The Rat Pack.
Medivh's
going?
Yeah.
That's good.
He's from Karazhan.
That's good.
He lives there, man.
That's good. That's actually good. I didn't like facing him. Medivh's out. That's good. I think is Evolve also?
Yes. That's, I believe, an Old Gods card. It's definitely rotating out. I believe it's Old Gods.
So that's also gone. As this Thing from Below.
All of the triple class cards.
The Jade Lotus.
Yeah, Jade Lotus, Cabal, that stuff.
So Kazakus is gone.
Out. Raza is gone.
Raza is also gone. So the Highlander Priest is kind of dead.
Yes.
No Raza, no Kazakus. Tough. Lyra Sting. It's from Ungoro. Yeah.
It's just Sting.
It's just Sting, which is good because it's an interesting card.
So yeah, standard after the change, once the next expansion drops, it's going to contain said next expansion, as well as basic, classic, Ungoro, Knights of the Frozen Throne, and Kobolds and Catacombs.
So the next one will be the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
So there's 3 cards announced at the point of recording. I don't know if there's going to be more, but there's 3 cards announced.
I don't think so.
They're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and one of those, and the first one, should absolutely not be inducted because it says Fame in the name. It should be inducted into Hall of Shame.
First of all, we should probably explain for those of you who might not know what we're talking about.
Okay.
The Hall of Fame is a set of cards that were classic cards that they wanted to move out of standard. They did that for the last year. They did 6 cards, and now they're doing 3 more.
So, to this year's cards are Ice Block, Coldlet Oracle, and the Molten Giant.
They reverted the Molten Giant back to costing only 20 mana.
Yes.
Because they were like, oh yeah, we don't care about wild balance.
And it was also literally unplayable when it was at 25.
But that's the problem, right? It's like, it was unplayable at 25, but it was just really good at 20.
Yeah. So, hey, now you can run it in wild, so I don't have to concern myself with that at all anymore. Most importantly, though, no more Ice Block and no more Kingsbane Mill Rogue for some reason beating my Q block. For some odd reason. No more of that. And that is delightful to me.
Yes.
Ice Block most of all. Quest Mage can fuck off. That's what they can. That deck's pretty much done. Quest Mage is done.
Yeah.
Quest Mage is absolutely done. It's so done. And that's great. It's wonderful. That's enough Matt Hardy references.
Yes.
Alright, what else do we have?
So they are making some significant changes to the way quests work.
Not the actual in-game quest from the Angoro thing, but the quest that you get in the main menu.
Not the cards, but the stuff that gets you gold.
Right.
So, talking about gold, the gold values have been increased for all of the 40 gold quests. They're now 50.
That's good.
Apparently, the other gold values are staying the same.
So it's 50, 60, and there's an 80 and 100 and a free pack. Yeah. So watch and learn. I like the fact that there's no more 40 because those were annoying. And you always had... I didn't want to do them, but sometimes you didn't even have to. If you got four, if you got 3 of them, you'd have to do one. Otherwise, you're just flat out missing out on the quest. So you have to do one. It sucks.
So they also said that the requirements for almost every quest will be reduced.
All right.
So they gave some examples. The one where you have to play 50 class cards for one specific class is now 30.
30 means you can do it in one game.
The one which used to be win 2 games with class A or B is now 1. And the one where it was like play 20 minions that cost 5 or more is now 12.
Turns into 12, exactly. So that's, in my opinion, that's a good thing. Specifically because of the gold. I didn't care too much for they're going to be easier because most of them were pretty much doable. Especially because they could be done in head-to-head with a friend.
That especially made them a lot easier. But even without that, like, play 50 class cards. You could just go in casual, build a deck only consisting of class cards and just play 2 matches.
Don't even need to win. Doesn't even matter. So, music reference. So that's, that doesn't matter too much, but the gold one is a big one. I don't know if it's at 40 anymore because psychologically, I'm happy with doing a 50 every once in a while. That's not a problem for me. But 40, I don't know, could have 60, 80, 100. I didn't want to.
Also, that means that you can now reroll 50 gold quests without having to fear them getting worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means the 50 gold quests will basically become the new 40 gold quests.
But a better one at that. They're raising the floor.
Yeah, this is definitely
which is good.
A nice improvement. And, of course, is a welcome change for free-to-play players especially. Because if you're putting money into the game, it doesn't really matter at that point.
Well, you really
where
need
they're getting a bit of gold more.
If you get every card, you don't need the quest then.
But for free-to-play players like us, it's really important to actually be able to get the cards.
Technically, I bought the welcome bundle, the 10.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's 50 cents per classic pack. And the classic ones stay.
Yes.
So like that's worth it.
Except for the ones that are.
Yeah, but those are kind of valuable if you can dust them.
Also,
it's got the Ice Block, the Cold Light, and the Pre-Morph Molten Giant.
What they did last time for the Hall of Fame was that you would get the amount of dust that the card was worth without even having to disenchant it.
I'd love that. I mean, if that gives you for me, it will be 1 Ice Block, 1 Giant, and a Cold Light, I think. Exactly 1 of each. So that's pretty good. That's 2 epics and a rare. I'll take that. And I'll disenchant them too, obviously, right? Because they're now no longer in standard, so why would I need them?
Maybe they're going to do it like they do with like Nerf cards that you can just disenchant at full value. Maybe they're doing it like they did last time with just getting the dust. Yeah. But either way, it's a lot of dust that you can get.
Which is good. And but still, let's just for a second acknowledge that there's no longer any Ice Block terrorism in standard anymore. Quest mages can fuck off is what they can do.
I've never had a problem with the Ice Block, but sure.
Hate it. Awful. Most overpowered card in the game. Thank you for rotating that out. That's all I really care about this specific part. So next one is the tournament.
Yeah. So they are now adding built-in tournament support.
Interesting.
But they said that the first beta will be released in the middle of the year, right. So it will not be released alongside the April expansion.
That's true.
They say that the features will include matchmaking and checking decks.
Whatever that means.
Suppose means that you can blacklist cards.
Okay.
I would suggest, because that's the only thing that really makes sense to me.
Maybe banning a certain deck when you're playing someone.
I don't know.
It's weird.
And they said that more will be added. They showed an example of how it looks, and it seemed like you can set a time for the tournament.
Yeah, you probably can set an amount of decks you can play, amount of players you can bring, and even maybe like a format. So it's going to be like a playoff format right away, or it's going to go group stages and all that.
Yeah,
maybe
so
that's all going to be in there.
The one that they showed says 3 decks, last man standing, maximum 6 players.
Less hero standing.
So yes.
Don't get that confused with the wrestling.
So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely organize tournaments without that, but that makes it hard to check everything manually.
Yeah. So that's like a more organized way, but that also requires people to be online at a specific certain time.
Yes.
Which is the downside to that. But if you want to do that, and if you can get that organized, it's a good feature, so why not have it?
The question is, here they have a certain time frame, which is, what is it, like 5:30 to 9 on one day.
Yeah.
But maybe you can set it so it goes over like a week.
Fewer days, right?
And you can play with whomever you matched up as long as you're both online or something.
Okay, yeah, that will be a good
I don't know. That's at this point we can only speculate.
Yeah, we don't know that. So we'll get more information on that as the year goes on.
Yeah.
And the last thing that we need to talk about in this specific expansion is probably the least exciting one.
Yeah.
Too.
It's a purely aesthetic change, but not even a change. It's an addition.
It's an addition.
It is the new druid hero.
Yes.
Lunara. Which, hey, cool that they're now finally having an alternate hero for Druid, because that was the only class that didn't have one. A lot of people wanted a Tauren for the alternate Druid hero.
Tauren.
Yes.
Yeah.
We ended up getting Cenarius' daughter, who's a demi-goddess, but she still basically looks like a night elf.
I have no clue what you're talking about. I only know that she looks like Cenarius with the horse body.
Yeah.
And like a human head or something like that.
Night elf.
Those are called night elves?
Yes, they're the pink ones.
The pink one? How are they pink?
Like purplish pink.
Are they purplish pink?
Yeah.
It just looks like a brown horse body with a white human torso. Really? Are they pink? Let me see that. Let me see that. Oh yeah, they're pink. Okay, fair. Fair. Okay, they're pink. Is Cenarius also pink?
Yes.
Okay, you can scroll back up if you want to.
It doesn't matter.
You're proving a point. How are they night elves too?
It's a good question. I don't know why they're called night elves.
Anyway, anyone will get them probably, because you need to win all but 10 games.
You need to win 10
in standard,
ranked, or casual games,
which everyone will do over a certain period of time, unless you really suck or you don't play at all. I believe not too many people will use her after a while,
and that will mean that you can no longer do the quest for Maiev.
Right. So if you want Maiev, do it now.
Yeah, if you somehow have not gotten Maiev yet.
Yeah, it's tough. I think if you just play the whole year, it's harder to not get those than to get them.
Yeah, I don't think active players have a problem with that. This is more to like the people who every now and again might play the game, but
that's like on a year's basis too.
Yeah, but that's first of all tough to play less than 10 games in a year, and then if you do, you basically can only play casual wild because you're not gonna have cards.
Yeah, you're not gonna be up to date on any type of meta at all. Right. So one more thing you wanted to do, which is take some guesses, take some shots in the dark on the new expansions that have been not yet released but teased of the Year of the Raven.
So yeah, we can speculate on that, and we can talk about what we might want to see for the new expansions.
Right.
So the first one has, they all in the center have some kind of gem-looking thing, and the first one looks like it's surrounded by a tree, like roots or
I first thought
branches
it was like
or something.
First, I thought it was like a pond of water with tentacles.
No.
But apparently, according to my dude JJ, it's a tree. It might be a tree. I don't know. So you said you had an idea on what that might be. It looks like some plants. Yeah. Now that You just scroll in a little bit, it looks like some plants, some grass and all that.
So, the first expansion could be about the Emerald Dream.
Alright.
Which actually, we already have some cards relating to that. The Dream cards from its era, basically.
Okay.
That would, of course, be more of a nature theme expansion in that case.
Like Angoro?
Yeah.
Type thing? Alright.
It could be related to druidism in general, and...
Druidism. That sounds like a disease. I'm sorry to inform you, you suffer from severe druidism.
Okay. So, it could be related to druids in some way, which I guess is kind of weird because druid is also a class.
Well, yeah, but why not, right?
It could be related to one specific forest. I'm honestly not that knowledgeable about the Warcraft universe at large. I know some stuff, but
I still think it looks like water, like a watery bubble or something. Is there something in there? Is that like a creature, like a little murloc or something, like a fish? It just looks. Maybe it's just It's not. No, it's not. It's just something, man.
I don't know.
It's a wooden background, so it looks like natural type thing.
It looks like the middle thing is a gem, not water, because there's like the cracks in there.
Yes.
Maybe that's just tight. If it's water, it could maybe be
what?
Like one of the wells, like the Well of Eternity, the Sun Well, something like that. But I don't think so.
Okay, we must cleanse the Sun Well.
Yes.
That's the only thing I know about that. I don't know much about no Sun Well, but one thing I know is that it has to be cleansed.
Well of Eternity would probably make the most sense, but I don't think so.
Shadowsong Cleric told me that.
The second thing looks kind of arcane and magical.
Yeah, it looks like the old gods a little bit. It's like the pink, purplish, crimson.
Yeah, but it also looks like the color of some of the spell effects, like arcane missiles, something like that. So that makes me think of arcane magic.
Okay.
So maybe a Dalaran themed expansion.
A what?
Dalaran.
What is that?
That is a city of mages.
A city of mages?
Basically.
That doesn't sound like a very good place.
So there's at least...
Is there actually any wizards, or is that just mages? Is that all that exists?
Well, they're called mages, usually.
Okay.
At least as a class, they're called mages. I'm not sure if in universe they might be also referred to as wizards.
Because I know that they're almost the same, but wizards are cooler.
Okay.
That's what South Park, The Stick of Truth, told me.
Okay. There's some cards that name Dalaran their name but maybe those are all wild.
Alright.
The backgrounds actually are all wooden, by the way.
Yeah, but the other one, like on the bottom, it looks more like a tree.
Yeah, oh yeah, right at the bottom, yeah. And the right one, the third expansion, looks like it's a gemstone surrounded by some rock or something. It could be a seal, maybe.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a seal, like a broken seal.
And
maybe this is all about Rin, the first disciple, and all the seals.
No.
That come with it. This is a demon based one.
Less magical seal and more like an actual like seal you would put in the envelope.
Okay.
But
so this is gonna be about mail? Like
maybe
mail, just like regular mail life.
I don't think so. It's a mailman expansion.
Like this expansion.
Introducing the new class, the mailman.
The mailman. This expansion is sponsored by the United States Postal Office. Right. Also, they don't use those seals anymore because those are wax seals like they used back in the day.
Exactly,
right? They don't
that's
do
what
that
it looks like. But yeah, it's like kind of rocky, but at the same time the background is green, which makes me more think of the naturey stuff.
It's green and wooden type thing.
Or of a banner, maybe.
A banner. Is there a place that has a flag like this?
I don't know, because the races and certain clans sometimes all have their individual banners.
Okay.
And again, I'm not that familiar with it, so...
The second one also kind of looks like it could be Kool-Aid flavored.
Okay.
So that might be a theme.
But what I'm thinking is maybe kind of similar to how they did it this year. Like, the first one is kind of naturey.
Yeah.
The second one is kind of magic-y, and the third one is kind of like underground, stone, earth, gems, that kind of...
The second one was Knights of the Frozen Throne. Is that kind of magic-y?
Well, yeah. The comparison is somewhat far-fetched, but I mean, I guess it's also somewhat about undeath and stuff, which I guess is kind of magical in nature, but...
Yeah, okay. So what kind of new stuff would you like to see? Like any specific new class or like type of card?
I would definitely love to see a new class, but I don't think they're gonna do it.
Is it like a new hero class?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because you need all the classic, you need to bring all classic cards and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
And 9 just kind of works.
So that's unlikely, but...
If they do want to do wizard, then you can also get rid of mage because then you just have the cooler, bigger brother of mages.
If they were gonna do new classes, it would probably be Demon Hunter and Death Knight.
Why that?
Because those are classes in World of Warcraft. I think there's also a monk class.
A monk class.
Yeah, I think that's the 3 that aren't in Hearthstone but are in World of Warcraft.
Okay. Well, yeah, that would make sense.
But so again, the first expansion makes me think of like nature and plants and beasts.
Beasts.
Yeah, I mean, if there's plants, there's usually also animals. So
yeah, life. When there's water, there is life.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be opposed to some new beasts.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe the second one gives us some new demons. Wouldn't be opposed to that one either. Or you think that's going to be the third one, rather?
I don't know.
How about ghosts? Ghosts.
Yeah.
Like, just ghosts?
We have one ghost already, at least. Probably more. Keening Banshee.
Is it but it's not a class.
Well,
ghost.
I guess Banshees and ghosts are also somewhat different, but...
Well,
Let's not get too much into semantics. Another thing that would make sense for them to do is introduce new categories of minions, like beasts and demon and...
That's what I was saying, like with ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, you were thinking ghosts as a category?
Yeah. I don't know if it was a class or category. It's like, that's what I was saying.
Oh, that's what you meant with new classes.
Yeah, sure.
So we're seeing hero classes.
No,
yeah.
not hero classes.
So... Yeah, ghosts could work. Again, they could make the Keening Banshee a ghost then.
Yeah, and they maybe like Arthas?
Arthas would work.
Bone Mare?
Not really. It's more of a skeleton.
Yeah.
But...
kind of similar.
One that would definitely make sense would be oozes.
Yeah, because there's already a lot.
Like slimes and oozes, because there's a lot of them.
There's a lot. That's true.
Generally speaking, I believe they have never introduced a new category like that didn't have anything previously that already belonged to it.
Okay.
Like pirates and beasts and demons were in there from the beginning. But they introduced mechs, and there had been mechs before.
Yeah.
What were the other stuff they introduced? There was some more.
What else even is there? Murlocs?
Murlocs were also there from the beginning. Is there?
That's actually depressing. Is there even anything else, really? Elementals.
Right, that's what I'm forgetting. Elementals. They retroactively added all the ones that made sense, like Water Elemental, Ragnaros.
What was the Water Elemental called before? Just Water Elemental, but it wasn't an elemental?
Exactly. The elemental type just didn't exist. It was it's a Water Elemental, but...
I see. Firefly, probably.
Firefly was introduced with Angoro, which is what also introduced the elemental subtype, so...
Alright.
Or type, rather.
I'll see that. Maybe we'll get some new, what's it called? Mechanics, like recruit?
Definitely.
Features?
We usually had one per expansion.
Okay, so there's probably going to be one. What was the one for Frozen Throne?
I'm not sure if Frozen Throne had one. I think that might have been one of the few that didn't.
Okay.
But they did have the heroes, which is kind of a new mechanic. Angoro had the quests, and they also had Adapt.
Okay, makes sense.
Then we had, in the Grand Tournament, we had Inspire. I don't know all of them, and I don't think every expansion had one, but a lot of them did.
Okay, so we might get some of those too, because Kobolds and Catacombs had Recruit.
Exactly.
As a new mechanism.
Which I'm still kind of salty that they didn't rename it for the other cards.
It's just someone from your deck still.
Yeah. Finja, Yasharaj.
Yeah. You were once talking about... What was I just gonna say? Did I just forget what you were going for? Also something like... Oh, yeah. Not being able to be targeted by spells and hero powers.
That needs a name.
It needs a name. Like, what do you say, like Spell Shield or something like that?
Yes, I think there's another name that the community uses. I can't remember right now. Let's totally not look that up right now.
Anti-Magic Cell.
I mean, that would be a good name, except that it's...
That's ours already card.
That might confusing because also already card. Elusive.
Elusive.
Yes.
Really elusive.
I like Spell Shield, but...
Elusive. What? That elusive would imply it can't be touched, can't be rocked, can't be moved, can't be stopped by any means. That was a music reference for anyone who caught that.
I didn't make that up.
Okay. Elusive. That's no. Spell Shield makes a lot of sense.
I mean, Poisons for a while didn't have a name. Knights of the Frozen Throne introduced Lifesteal, I believe.
Lifesteal? Okay. Possible, yeah. Bloodworm?
Yeah, that was...
And there's not even that many minions with Lifesteal.
I believe there was only one that got it added retroactively, which was, I believe, a demon from Goblins vs. Gnomes.
Which is not even the standard anymore.
Yeah, but they still are adapting the cards to fit new wordings.
So, yeah, who gives a rip for that? The Blood Reaver has it, too.
Yeah,
that's from the Frozen Throne. That's great. So, the Blood Reaver also proves that you can heal by wounding others.
Yes.
Which is a common misconception.
I've seen those before.
Okay, you want to talk more or you want to get into the halftime show?
I mean, unless you have some cool ideas for stuff that they could add.
Not really.
I feel like it's tough coming up with those.
Yeah, it's like, really hard because, like, I don't know the realms of possibilities either. It's like, what would be legit, like, in the universe and all, what wouldn't be? I
mean, generally speaking, from mechanics, you can just make up whatever and then build something around that, as long as it thematically fits.
Right. I maybe stuff like, not necessarily mechanic, but cards that will have, like, end of turn or consistent effects where they hurt your opponent's deck or something like that. At the end of turn, to take, like, mill one card of your opponent's deck or something like that. But that's just one effect, like, put on another.
So one thing that could kind of use a keyword, although it's not as prevalent, is the effect from Cave Hydra.
Okay.
Also attacks minions adjacent. There was one legendary
maybe just for
in Goblins vs. Gnome who did it, and there's also the weapon from Garrosh who does it.
Yeah. But that doesn't seem as necessary.
Yeah, but it's like if they add a new keyword, they're gonna also release more cards that do it.
Yeah, of course, right.
So that would work.
Not sure if I want too many cards to do that though, because that's really powerful.
And again, just quickly talking about types, oozes would make sense.
Yeah.
Undead would make sense, although that might be split into multiple ones, like zombies, skeletons.
That could be bone
and ghosts. Undead. Just as undead might be a lot of cards, especially with Knights of the Frozen Throne adding even more.
Orphis again works.
Yeah, I mean the Lich King works if it's just undead as
Skelemancer.
Yeah, Skelemancer itself maybe, but definitely the skeletons it summons.
Yeah.
There is a lot of undead cards.
Right.
So that might be if it's just straight up undead, it might be a bit strong. So maybe you would have to split that. I don't know.
Yeah, that will.
Also, of course, there's always a problem that you might run into where it's like, oh yeah, there is undead pirates or something like that, and then, oh god, dual typing.
Phantom Freebooter.
Yeah, see?
For example, right?
So, that's always a problem you run into.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, like, dragons are also kind of beasts.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, is Sarah not a beast? Would those be beasts if they weren't? If dragons wasn't a thing, would they be beasts?
I'm trying to remember if dragons have been a thing from the beginning because I'm not sure.
I don't know that either, but it will make sense for dragons to also be beasts
because the dragon synergy started a bit later. I'm not sure if they actually.
Murlocs not so much. Murlocs aren't beasts; they're just kind of weird creatures. Like
they're
they
kind
don't
of
really
primitive people.
How are they people? They're like frogs, man.
They're intelligent. They make tools, which is a core requirement often used by humans in the real world to identify intelligent life.
Yeah, they still can't mess with beasts.
And they walk upright, I believe. And they communicate with a language.
So
it's not one that makes sense to outsiders, but they qualify as an intelligent species.
Oh, yeah, okay. Who are you gonna bet on? Like a toad-sized, barely functioning frog creature who with somewhat of a high IQ, or a crackling razor maw?
I'm not saying that they're stronger than beasts, but I'm saying they are by no definition beasts.
Yeah, okay. Well, what's the definition of beast? Are humans by definition beasts? Is beast any wild animal?
That would probably be a vaguely okay.
Are they not wild animals? From a human perspective, they totally are.
Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't include them as beasts just because they're not as beastly. But dragons, like look at some of these dragons. Like look at Deathwing, or he looks like a beast.
Yes.
Or like whatever. They could be they could totally be beasts. But let's not get into that as much. Beasts. I just prefer beasts. They're pretty good. Hashtag show?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we have?
So we wanted to talk. We've brought this up before, I believe. We wanted to talk about underrated musicians.
That is true.
In pretty much any interpretation of the statement, that are generally underrated, kind of, but not as much, because we talk about that a lot. Because a lot of the musicians we like are generally somewhat underrated.
All right.
Musicians that we underrate, either both of us or just that we think the other person underrates.
Well, if we both underrate them, we wouldn't bring them up. Because
no, but it's like just okay, fair. But it's like the ones we don't maybe talk about as much.
Yeah,
despite
I know definitely what you mean. I had some specific names in my head for that.
So, do you want to start off?
I can start off, and the first one I know by heart, and I wanted to bring this up for a while. Now, you know how we always have been classifying the following bands as kind of the same grouping. I'm gonna just try and remember them all. So that would be Nickelback, Coldplay, Green Day, Linkin Park, and I believe one else.
I don't know, Metallica?
Not Metallica.
Metallica's pretty good.
Metallica's pretty good, but no, that. Okay, so let's say that those four again, right? So in my opinion, there's two of them that really stick out as being quite a lot better than the other two.
Okay.
And that would be Coldplay and Green Day. Specifically, Green Day, I've had in my mind for a while now. I think, okay, so I can full on confidently say that I like those two better than the Rolling Stones. I know you would probably not agree with that.
I would not agree with that.
But, yeah. But I can see Green Day being a top 25 band. Or, like, artist on my list. Somewhere around that. Maybe that's too high, but...
I feel like it's a bit too high, but...
But anyway, that's one of those that I think we underrate. Because, like, when do we ever talk about Green Day or Coldplay? I think we both kind of forget them a bit because they're kind of new. Yeah. They're not as old type of thing. So we not really... And that there's not really any real burner songs. Like, any, like,
that's true.
Big time songs.
Actually, one band that you mentioned that I put on my list is one that, for some reason, has... really bad publicity. Maybe it's not the right wording, but Nickelback.
Nickelback?
A lot of people say they're horrible.
That's true, right? Yeah.
Which
I've heard it.
I'm not gonna say they're a great band or anything, but they're good.
They're alright.
They're not horrible.
Yeah, there's some good stuff.
They have a lot of decent songs.
Yeah, they're not Green Day, they're not Coldplay, but they're alright.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up because
sure.
I feel like they get a lot more shit than they deserve.
So we're basically both shitting on Linkin Park. Is what we're doing.
I like Linkin Park too.
They're probably the worst of those four.
But
like for me, they're the last of those four. I'm not gonna sit here and deny that.
I honestly can't really decide because I feel like they are, especially Nickelback, Linkin Park, and Coldplay are around the same level. Green Day is a bit better, but not
Coldplay
much.
is more toward the Green Day than toward the other two, in my opinion. So, Green Day and Coldplay are both really, really good. Now, the other two or a bit below that. But I still, like, the order for me would be still pretty clear. That's one I would want to bring up. What do you have?
I actually had, where to start?
At the beginning.
Let's start at the beginning of my list with, and I hope I remember this correctly, Nicholas David Kershaw. I'm not entirely certain on the David.
It's 3 letters, man, if you wanted to just... Why, man? Why?
I at some point looked him up and he had a middle name and I think it was David and I just wanted to bring it up.
Why? Nick. Not even a C in there, too. It's so easy. He's talking about Nick Kershaw.
Yes, I'm talking about Nick Kershaw.
Pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would agree. I totally agree. If we made that underrated musicians list, it could be on mine. We don't talk about him enough. That's true.
We basically don't talk about it.
Quantity of songs isn't quite there.
I want to say I might have used The Riddle as a Song of the Week once, but I'm not sure.
All of the songs of his that we have are Song of the Week worthy. Now, is it 3 or 4? I believe it's
3 that
right?
we generally have, but I have been searching more.
There is Wouldn't It Be Good? There is The Riddle. And then there is something that Jada is looking up right now, since we have the power of the computer.
I Won't Let the Sun Go Down.
I Won't Let the Sun Go Down, exactly. All those 3 are pretty good songs.
There is more stuff that he's done that's maybe not quite as good as those 3, but still pretty good.
Definitely.
Which I've been looking into a bit more lately. I need to look into that more still. I think there's one that I added to my list that I haven't downloaded yet, but
okay.
I honestly can't remember
the title. I think that's literally the only 3 that I know of him. So the quantity isn't quite there. And
which is why I researched him, because I was like, the quality's pretty good.
And for the quantity that is there, the quality isn't as through the roof as it is for certain others of that type of quantity.
Yeah.
Right?
I really like The Riddle, though.
They're all good songs. If, like order them, 1, 2, 3.
It's probably The Riddle. Wouldn't It Be Good? Then I Won't Let the Sun Go Down.
Okay,
But the last 2 I'm not entirely sure on.
For me, it's tough to order any of them. They're all 3 of them.
I feel like The Riddle is like 1 tier better than the other 2.
You think so? Like full tier? So is that like is that good and the other ones are decent, or is that great and the other ones are good?
I would argue good and then The Riddle is great.
Okay. For me, they're probably all in good, but I won't want to rank them. It's kind of tough. So let me look up my list again, see what I wrote down. Okay, this one, right? So the Mamas and the Papas.
Fair.
It's kind of like they kind of suffer to us from the Nick Kershaw effect a little bit. The quantity isn't quite there. And for the quality that they do provide, the quality isn't out of this world the way it should, like you would expect it to be, which is why they kind of fall down a little bit. Just like Nick Kershaw, there's 3 songs on your playlist, at least. I don't know if there's more for me. And they're all good. I'm going to look at my playlist, but...
I mean, the most famous one's probably California Dreamin'.
Possibly, yeah.
And the other ones that I currently have on here are Monday Monday and Spanish Harlem.
I'm gonna look that up real quick. I think it's the same for me.
It
is the same for me.
I would actually probably consider all 3 of those good songs. None of them really great.
That's the same for me. They're good songs. Maybe okay. Overall, Nick Kershaw over these three songs, yes, but not by too much. So generally underrated. It's the same effect that Nicholas David Kershaw suffers from.
While we're talking about this effect,
Razor Light. There's two songs.
There's Wire to Wire in America.
There's Wire to Wire in America. Same, yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's like, oh yeah.
I think we've discovered a phenomenon, man. What do you call it? Is it the Razor Light effect? Is it the Nick Kershaw effect?
It's definitely not the Mamas and the Papas effect because it's just way too long.
Sounds weird. It could be the Kershaw effect. That's probably a scientific thing somewhere. And if it's not, it sure is now. It sounds like one too. So the Kershaw effect.
Yeah.
Because that was the original person you brought up with that.
We could make like a quantity comparison list thing and then just call it the Kershaw curve. The
Kershaw curve. Let's not do that. That's a bit of a tongue twister.
No, I mean,
the Kershaw effect.
Razor Light definitely falls under that. Arguably, those 2 songs are better, then wouldn't it be good and I won't let the sun go down, I would say.
Really?
Just ever so slightly.
See, I'm not... That's like in a territory where, to me, there's 100 songs to 200 songs in that same territory. In that same subcategory of the good category. So I will not rank those. I will not make a judgment on that.
I would personally say they're slightly better than those two, but worse than the riddle.
Okay.
Which, it sounds bad when I say worse, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not as good.
Lesser.
So it definitely falls in there. And also, I wrote someone else down who kind of, yeah.
Is that from the Kershaw effect?
Not quite as much,
right.
But I feel like he also kind of fits there, and that's Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins is, I think, might probably be even a tier higher than Nick. Nicholas,
yeah, but
David.
And we mentioned Kenny Loggins probably a bit more than the others.
I'm pretty sure Highway to the Danger Zone used to be Song of the Week at some point. If it's not, which we need to look up, I'll make it one. I'm pretty sure I made it one before.
Again, I probably have the riddle too, so,
yeah.
You know. But, yeah, Highway to the Danger Zone, we mention every now and again.
Yeah.
So, he's definitely not as underrated.
Mm-hmm.
But we also don't mention him a lot.
Right.
There's Hardline, there's Footloose.
Yes. That's like...
Where he just rhymes everything with names or itself.
Or just
Footloose,
yeah.
Footloose is the song with the lazy rhymes.
Yeah, that's the
entire song's like, yeah.
Well, you know what's also a song with very lazy rhymes?
What?
Californication. Because everything rhymes with Asian anyway.
Yeah.
But it's an awesome song. I've really got... Let me shout that out real quick, man. The Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's not on my list, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers are the one band that I've been buying more stock in over the last period of a month or so than anyone else. They're the ones that have been climbing my chart the most. Under the Bridge, and especially Californication. Californication has absolutely established itself in that great category for me. It's gonna go on that top 50 evaluation sheet too.
Here's the question.
Great song.
Are they a publicly traded company, and if so, do you just confuse people?
The Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're putting more stock in...
I'm putting... You know what? It's a metaphor, right?
I know.
Come on, man. Yeah.
I'm just grabbing for the puns at this point.
I'm buying all kinds of Red Hot Chili Pepper stock, is what I'm saying. And California is a great one. So that one, we need to level those guys up, man. These people need to be seriously considered for future top 10 artists, like musicians lists.
Yeah.
For me, definitely, and probably for you too, depending on...
Yeah, definitely should consider them. If they're going to end up there, we will have to see.
Because the quantity and quality is better than everything we've mentioned so far. I'm going to look at my list again. I think I got something else. I definitely put something that you underrated. Okay. There's like 3 of them. One of them we both underrated on this one. And the other one, specifically you. The other 2, you specifically underrated.
Let's start with those 2.
So those 2 would be They Might Be Giants and
God.
Latin Quarter. Again, I put Latin Quarter again. Now, I know you know and like Latin Quarter.
Yes.
Not to the point that they should be liked though, and I can't mention it enough. So I know you rate them highly, but not highly enough. But this is exactly what I said in the debate we had, where that was a point that I actually made.
Yeah, I don't think we have to
I'm not gonna
reiterate that.
Gonna Latin Quarter, people. Latin Quarter.
I think we talked about They Might Be Giants as well.
Maybe.
I don't like their style that much.
And I don't get that. Because it's... Okay, let's not make this a debate, but... man, their style is what makes them, man.
Exactly. Which is, if you don't like it,
you're not gonna like it. Road Movie to Berlin? Is that not a really, really good song?
That's probably their best song out of the ones I know.
Well, there's Particle Man and there's Istanbul.
Yeah, exactly. Not Constantinople.
Not Constantinople, no. It's not. But they're the funniest ones. They're some of the funniest songs.
Yeah, but...
Road Movie to Berlin is really damn good.
Doesn't necessarily offset that I don't like their style as much.
That's musical style. Yeah, I get that, but I think you underrate them. And Latin Quarter 2, I think if we made an index on if we somehow manage to put out an index on comparing a band's overall popularity or like famousness, if that's a word, compared to the quality of their actual music, Latin Quarter would be a top 5 band on that.
I mean,
so if you took like if
popularity, you can try going for Google search hits or Google searches or something. Yeah.
And then if you put like you basically the formula would be quality divided by popularity, and the higher the number, the higher it would rank on that specific list.
It's tough to quantify quality, but yeah.
Right. So that's of course subjective.
Or rather, is it qualified? I don't know. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Qualified, because
it's hard to put it in numbers.
That's subjective to a certain percentage.
Yeah.
But to a big percentage, it's not. So we could definitely do that, provided some mistake there, some random error. But that would be an interesting concept at least, and I believe Latin Quarter would be very, very high on that.
I mean, there's definitely good data from Google of like how many people search for a certain term.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the frames you can put it in, but we could literally be like, oh yeah, searches in the last 10 years or something.
So the quality would have, the music quality would have been absolutes.
So the popularity would definitely be easy to...
and the other one we'd have to kind of evaluate for ourselves.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a project for some time we got nothing to do. But that's just what I want to shout out. Do you have something else? Because
I've got one last one that I wrote down.
Okay, get it.
Which I'm not exactly sure in which particular category of underratedness it falls, but it definitely...
Kershaw Effect?
No.
No Kershaw Effect. All right.
It's Metallica.
All right. Metallica.
We don't mention them a lot.
Not much, no.
And I feel like you definitely rate them lower than I do.
Probably true. Yeah.
And... let me actually quickly pull up the folder again for
if you wanted to compare my stance on Metallica to some of the other bands we've mentioned today. So let me just think of some and think if I like Metallica better or worse. So Latin Quarter, Metallica is lower than that. Metallica is probably, all things considered, lower than Green Day and Coldplay for me too.
Okay.
I don't know if that's still the case for you.
No.
No longer the case.
Green Day is tough because there's a lot of quantity, I feel.
Yeah.
Coldplay too, but I'm not entirely certain of the quality.
Now, They Might Be Giants versus Metallica is...
for me, it's clearly Metallica.
For me, it's pretty tough, probably. Latin Quarter is the best band we've mentioned of all those so far, for me. Yeah, Metallica, man. They're good, is what they are.
So... I have 4 songs of them right now in my playlist.
I think so do I.
Which is Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters, The Unforgiven, and Whiskey in the Jar.
Okay, let me put those into categories real quick.
There's probably some other songs that I could add, and probably should add.
Yeah, Enter Sandman is a good, but in the higher echelon of good. So is Nothing Else Matters. Whiskey in the Jar is just like the mediocrity portion of good, and The Unforgiven is just decent.
I would argue that the worst out of those 4 songs is Whiskey in the Jar.
Really? No.
Yes.
The Unforgiven is the worst.
Nothing Else Matters I've always kind of liked. As a matter of fact, at least in part due to the lyrics.
Yeah, it's good.
And Enter Sandman and The Unforgiven, the longer I've had them in my playlist, the more they've been growing on me.
Unforgiven never did that for me. The other, like Nothing Else Matters, Enter Sandman, yeah. Unforgiven, no. It's just kind of... It's not the fortunate son, man. It ain't him. He ain't no fortunate son, you know what I'm saying?
It's pretty much the opposite.
Why?
Because it's The Unforgiven.
Right.
And if you think about like the stuff, it's like all pretty negative.
Right, but man, ain't no fortunate son. No, I don't know. This is kind of the odd one out for me. Whiskey in the Jar is like a bit lower than the other 2, but Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters are in that category. So
I would put Whiskey in the Jar probably like between good and decent.
Okay, you can't put it between. You could put it in the higher echelon of decent or in the lower ones of good.
Probably more towards good, thereby in the lower good, and the other stuff in the like higher ends of good.
Higher ends of good. So yeah, the Unforgiven would slip all the way to mid tier decent for me. I'm just not high on that song. I don't hate it. I don't have a strong opinion on it, honestly. I typically don't listen to it on the casual basis. It's not on any of my playlists. It's not on our casual stuff playlist. It's not on my personal playlist when I walk around.
Well, my personal playlist is pretty much all my songs, which is right now exactly 800. So
exactly 800.
Yes.
Okay. That's a good number. That's a milestone. When you get 1,000, we need to celebrate that.
Yeah.
With a 24-hour music stream.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say get some drinks,
Do I look like
some whiskey in a jar?
Do I look like I'm getting whiskey in a jar? No, dude. I'm not getting the whiskey in a jar. Okay, I put 2 more bands. Those are more toward the country side of the music spectrum.
Okay.
And that will be one. Well, Leonard Skinner is kind of underrated.
Yeah.
For us, everybody knows Sweet Home Alabama.
Yes.
And that's typically where it ends.
That's true.
People who played GTA San Andreas for some reason know Freebird.
Okay.
Because it was in that game.
I mean, Freebird is probably the second most recognizable one as well.
You think so?
Yeah,
maybe, but not the second best one. It's probably it's the worst one of the ones that I have.
How many do you have?
I think 4. There's Southern Ways. There's Floyd. There's Sweet Home Alabama, and then there's Freebird.
Okay.
So Southern Ways is. Okay.
I'm not sure if I have Southern Ways actually.
You don't have Southern
I'm
Ways?
not sure. I said.
Dude.
Let me look this up. Yes, I do. I have 5.
Wow.
Because I also have Tuesdays Gone.
Yeah, Tuesday's Gone. I'm still not that high on. I still might need to revisit that.
Floyd, man, yeah.
It didn't quite make it for me. Floyd's pretty good.
Yeah.
Southern Ways is actually contesting, almost seriously contesting Sweet Home Alabama there, man. You know how good Southern Ways actually is?
I'm gonna probably say number 1 Leonard Skinner song for me just might be Floyd.
Floyd?
Yeah.
And you know that
Floyd
Sweet Home
1,
Alabama and Southern Ways are pretty good songs. Sweet Home Alabama's legend.
It's probably Freebird 2 and then Sweet Home Alabama, Southern Ways, Tuesday's Gone.
Right. So Freebird is the lower one for me there. We don't mention them that much, so Southern Ways should be a song of the week. I might write that down. So it should be sort of Floyd. And speaking of Floyd, Pink Floyd. Ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good, aren't they? Okay, I will say that I've used both Arnold Layton and Julia Dream for songs of the week.
Yes.
I think was it consecutive weeks?
Maybe.
Or so, it was pretty close. So I can't claim that they're that underrated, but they're still some of their songs, like See Emily Play, we don't mention that song.
I think that was also your song of the week at one point.
Maybe, but we don't mention it. We don't even mention it. So just saying, man, Pink Floyd's pretty good. And it was one last
interestingly enough, their most popular song you did not mention, which is Another Brick in the Wall.
Yes. Is it? Is it the most popular one?
I would think so.
I'm not even sure.
Most recognizable.
Wish You Were Here?
I don't think so.
Maybe Another Brick in the Wall because of the whole music video and all that and possible. It's not my favorite song of them though. Just because it's the most recognizable doesn't mean it's the best one.
I'm just saying it's probably the most recognizable.
Yeah, of course, right. So, and the last one, which is a band that you haven't paid any attention to, I feel like barely ever, and even I have not been giving them as much praise as I should have, which would be Alabama.
Okay.
There's really no bad bands that are named after a state. Prove me wrong if you want to. There probably is. There's probably some band named like Connecticut or I don't know, Washington State. Who names their band Washington State?
No one.
No, but don't say that. There's probably
someone probably did.
But there's Texas, there's Kansas, there's Alabama now.
Actually, Texas.
Nick Kershaw effect.
Yeah.
Texas Kershaw effect. Low quantity.
Black Eyed Boy, Summer Sun.
Yeah, low quantity, medium high, pretty high quality. No absolute take the roof off quality. Kershaw effect.
Yeah.
We need to make a list of Kershaw affected musicians. Does the Kershaw effect only apply to music? I think it should.
Probably. You could probably extrapolate it to affect other things, but you would have to make different qualifications.
Yeah. So for now, it's just going to be music for us.
Thereby, it would be the extended Kershaw effect.
Yeah. Let's just stick with the basic core principle of the Kershaw effect. Texas, yeah. Alabama, that's 7 songs for me. And They're all damn good. Now I discovered the whole band basically at once when I was looking for country music on YouTube. I do that sometimes.
Yeah, usually when I go on YouTube, if I actually search for music genre, it's always going to be classic rock, so, you know.
But then you always find the same stuff, eventually.
I have looked through some metal at some point, but...
I would never look for metal. That's me.
Oh yeah, that's also, while we're talking about underrated stuff, you totally underrate the entire genre of metal.
Well, you totally underrate the entire genre of country.
Fair.
Right, so, because, you know, I mean, you're not giving John Fogerty the credit that he deserves, that being a literal god emperor of all living beings, which he is and should be treated as such. There's no doubt about that. It's John Fogerty. But Alabama too. There's like 7 songs. All of them are really good, and all of them remind me of a road trip, man. During the summer.
I feel like that's what country music does, though.
But that's good.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
Like the road trip association, that generally makes sense.
Country music.
I mean, I feel like that's one of the bigger differences in our musical tastes, where I sometimes lean more into the metal and you lean more into the country.
Yeah, country is great. Also, was Alan Jackson? Ring a bell?
Yes.
Right. So he might also be in that category, even though he's nowhere near the quality of Alabama. But there's like 5 songs, maybe not 5 songs, like 3 songs for Alan Jackson. Alabama. Look at how many Alabama songs you got, and let's actually compare.
Probably less than you.
Let's actually do it live. We're gonna compare this. I'm looking at this too, but I think the number was 7. If I'm not 7, right?
Born Country, Dixieland Delight.
It's gonna
if
be
you're
the
gonna
same
play
one.
in Texas, Mountain Music, My Home's in Alabama, Rollin' 18-Wheeler, Song of the South.
In the exact order that I have it too.
Which is the alphabetical order.
Which makes sense. So yeah.
And Alan Jackson, I've got 5.
It is 5, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was actually more than I thought. So both those combined for 12 songs, and we've barely ever mentioned them ever.
I personally would probably classify both of those as decent.
I'd have to go song by song, but I would classify Alabama in the upper tiers of good and Alan Jackson in the lower tiers of good.
I would classify all of those as decent, and then where exactly it's tiered in decent would have to vary by song as well.
Right.
But most of them probably middle to lower.
Is there no song there that's good or great? Not one? Come on, My Home's in Alabama? Even though your home isn't even in Alabama?
I know.
Really?
That's probably one of those that actually is like in the upper parts of decent, but good, not quite.
Born Country? Really? Those are actually, if I think about it, those are some like on the fringe between good and great songs. It's part of them.
So basically,
very situational.
The takeaway here is I rate country pretty much exactly 1 tier lower than you do.
Yeah, and metal it would be the other way around probably.
Yeah.
I'm not that huge into metal. It's just not that. It's not that great. Like country.
Arguably, all of the metal songs that I have would be somewhere between the medium and upper tier of good for me.
Okay, so for me it'd probably be like in the decents. Somewhat.
You know, Iron Man, Run to the Hills.
Well, those
Number
are
of the Beast,
pretty alright.
Last Man Standing.
That one I don't like that much, but Iron Man is definitely upper tier. Well, it's good. Number of the Beast, lower tier of good, maybe. Run to the Hills also in the lower tier of good. Country music.
That's just the ones from the top of my head that are definitely considered
We've
metal because
only so far got to the halftime show on the podcast. It's almost an hour.
I think halftime show was like half an hour.
Possible. So we also talk Hearthstone a lot, but let's do the next thing.
Fact of the week, and I'm going to start on this one.
Oh, okay.
Because
you said your fact was great.
The fact itself, it's general the stuff around it because, and we did not plan this, as a matter of fact, you once came up with the idea of the halftime show and I didn't even consider that when I picked the fact, and that is, did you know that on YouTube, when you create a playlist, you can share a link that allows people to add videos to that playlist?
Is that true?
Yes, that is true.
Okay.
So, you can add videos to the playlist, and you can remove the ones you've added, and the person who created the playlist can add and remove all of them.
Okay.
Which means, and here's the fun thing that I haven't told you yet, but we will create a playlist.
All right.
And then we will share a editing link to that in the description of this video.
Okay.
that people can add songs to that they think we should listen to.
Damn, it's like a public music share.
Exactly.
That's not bad.
It's a subscriber suggested music playlist.
That's good. We need to advertise it in regular intervals, too.
Yeah, we should put that in like every podcast description, maybe even in every description.
You could put it in every damn video, yeah.
So,
damn.
I just recently discovered that basically by accident, just by going through the options for playlists.
Not even bad.
And
are we going to share stuff with we could put our songs of the week in there.
We could
just put our songs of the week. We
could also just make a separate playlist for that in theory, but
let's put our songs of the week in there.
Sure. So
damn.
Mostly what I wanted to do this for is, first of all, of course, for people to be able to contribute to our stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that is definitely an easier way to suggest songs than just give us a title. We'll have to search for a good version somewhere.
Yeah.
Just, add it to the playlist.
Drop it right in there. That's good.
And no one can delete the songs you edit except for you and us. And I don't think we have to really delete anything.
No.
We can just keep them in there so that people
for other people
can see them, yeah.
Unless it gets a bit too crowded, we can maybe clean some stuff out, move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But, hey, good idea. My effect of the week, not as groundbreaking, but still interesting. The NFL, ever heard of it?
Yes, it's the National Football League.
The National Field Hockey Football League, yeah. Uses up about 3,000 bovines. Ever heard of it?
I knew that! Worth of footballs!
I
know!
In leather! Per season!
I knew that!
Per individual season. That's crazy.
I knew that, actually. I've read that somewhere before.
Really?
Yeah.
Bovines are cows.
Not just, but yes.
Also buffalo. And bison. There's a pun there.
Yeah, I'm laughing because of the pun.
3,000 cows worth of leather. For football.
3,000 cows. Those produce a lot of CO2.
Like how... Yeah. But also a lot of leather. And they don't produce no more CO2 when they're dead.
Yes, but that's not an argument.
So, if you played more football, there would be less climate change. Fact.
No, because they would breed more cows.
No, JJ, no. Don't think if you don't think it through to that point, you can make you believe that. Right?
But thinking things through is what we do.
Yeah. Okay.
And bad puns and music references.
Let's get to the second topic, though.
Yes.
That's a channel announcement. Big time.
And I guess we're gonna keep it somewhat brief because we already are.
We're at an hour. And yeah. So, Jinx. He can't talk anymore. I've been wanting to do that on the air for the better part of a year. Getting to Jinx JJ on the air because now he can't talk anymore until I say JJ's name 3 times. Now it's 1 time because I already said it twice. What we have for our second topic is the TrashcanTV Hall of Fame. That's a new concept that we will introduce. Now here's what we're gonna do. We will introduce 5 entities. We're saying entities, not people, but it's usually gonna be people from the channel's history that have some type of importance. Could be anything. Could be characters from games, anything. There's going to be, over the next week, 1 inaugural class, which is going to contain 10 of those entities. Mostly people. He's typing stuff. What's he typing? That already happened. So JJ, I'm just communicating to him over text now. So JJ,
you don't need to because you already said my name 3 times.
Shit. So are you saying you're gonna upload that video before this podcast?
Yes, we specifically said before we were gonna record the podcast that we were gonna, as a second topic, talk about the 10 inaugural people.
Oh right. So wait, this is gonna take even more time.
That's the topic.
Ah fuck. This is gonna be a 2-hour podcast. Okay, JJ. Okay, let's get through it. You wanna talk about the people that?
And I still can't believe you jinxed from the word "so."
You know what? We set up a pack of rules at one point that probably wouldn't exclude that. Though it was like obvious words.
Yeah.
Like obvious situations or something. But anyway, okay. You
Inside
wanna
jokes.
Yeah, you wanna talk about the entities? Let's always call them entities, okay?
Okay.
Because it's not always people. It's not even sentient beings necessarily.
It could be giant cookies. Who knows?
it might be giant cookies, Mr. Smartass, that were introduced into the Hall of Fame. Inaugural class. Inducted. Introduced, inducted.
Both work.
Enshrined.
That's a nice word.
Enshrined. The 10 entities that were enshrined into the Hall of Fame. Inaugural class. At the end of March is going to be the next one.
Yes.
We already said that. And so who is being enshrined?
Well, so I guess we can go through them in the order which we did in the video, which, if you haven't seen, I guess check it out. Makes sense. The first one was AJ Styles.
The first one was AJ Styles. Now, we tried to pick one. This is more meta, right? So we tried to pick one for every kind of category that we cover. So we weren't going to pick 3 people from one specific game or one specific topic that we cover. So AJ Styles was kind of the WWE. Yeah. Because that's what we do. Now we also do Rick and Morty, hence leading us to
Rick Sanchez.
Being the first person. So we would always go to every category and then think of who could be that one person to represent that kind of category as the inaugural inductee.
So basically, for every category that we came up with, we chose the entity that we most wanted inducted into our Hall of Fame.
It's my favorite word.
Entity.
Hall of Fame. No, just kidding. Entity is a pretty good word.
I like enshrined.
Enshrined is a good word. So another thing that we did a lot was The Walking Dead.
Yes.
And we've been thinking about Lee versus Clementine. We put Clementine because she just appears in every single one.
Yeah, right? So we didn't spend as much time with Lee as we did Clementine. True. We basically spent the entire first game with her while playing Lee.
Yeah.
And then
we played her.
And then at the end we played her.
And then even as Harvey, and even as Harvey, we met her.
Yeah.
So Clementine was kind of the face of the franchise. And not to curse anything here, but
oh god. And she's
WrestleMania
gonna be the playable character in the 4th and final season once again.
Yeah, which is gonna come out sometime this year.
Which we're gonna play, of course.
You be damn right, we're gonna play.
Subtle plug.
Another person that another game that we played a lot would be Life is Strange.
Yeah, we played
2 games.
Both Before the Storm and then after that, the original Life is Strange.
Exactly. And doing that, playing both the games, leading us to pick Chloe Price.
Yeah, so the discussion, of course, was between Max and Chloe.
Yeah, which makes sense.
I have to say, I personally still enjoyed Before the Storm at least as much as I did the original. Okay, yeah. No? Although the last few episodes of the original Life is Strange were pretty good.
They were really good.
But it started relatively slow.
Yeah. Which I also kind of liked. It's got its flair.
In some of the parts, I felt like the parts were a bit gimmicky.
With time travel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
it was a puzzly game at some parts, yeah.
If the time travel powers weren't in the game, it would probably never gone that big because it wouldn't have attracted as many people initially.
Yeah. And the whole concept wouldn't have worked. Because, you can't go back and make that decision at the end.
Yeah, of course.
Spoilers!
So, that...
Go watch it first.
Some of it was kind of gimmicky. I definitely enjoyed all 3 episodes of the original... not the original, the prequel.
Yes.
So... Where, of course, we play as Chloe.
We pick Chloe. Exactly. So,
and she's also in the entirety of the original game.
One thing I need to point out is, for this one, also for Lee... The character that we didn't pick doesn't mean they're never going to make the Hall. It only means that they're not going to be the first ballot Hall of Famer. It's like in sports, okay? They are eligible as soon as they have been documented on the channel. Right? So Lee and Max will probably still be runner-ups for the class of March.
Yes.
I would imagine. Because they have played great roles in the development of the whole the channel and the games that we play. So... The characters that weren't picked in one class will still be eligible for the next one, but only the most important ones are supposed to be first ballot ones.
Yes.
So exactly. we decided on Chloe there. Now another game would be The Wolf Among Us.
Yes.
And the character that we decided on was, surprisingly enough, not Bigby Wolf, even though he's still on the list. It's Toad.
It's Toad, because Toad was probably the funniest character in the entire game.
He was probably
it's either him or Colin, but Toad first of all appeared more, and he still is probably a bit funnier.
Toad's got a beat. Colin was funny, and he's on the list. but I think Bigby might be in front of him too. But Toad is awesome, man. Toad has everything that a Hall of Famer needs to have. Okay, Toad. He's British and he's always angry and he swears a lot, which is even funnier when you do it in a British accent.
Definitely.
Toad. Was no way around him. Next one. Hearthstone, for example.
Sure.
Hearthstone was a pretty obvious choice for us. The head of the Hall of Fame class.
And arguably almost the channel mascot at this point.
The Snow Flipper Penguin. It's a beast. Jinx.
No.
Okay. I fair. That was pretty obvious. It's a beast though, right? So, man, the 1-1 Snow Flipper is everything.
Of course, with our recent 100 subscriber special, he came up a lot. We had him in most of the mid-range hunter gameplays.
Love the meme streams.
And I believe we put him in some other decks just because...
Because it's a beast. We made a rule for a period of time that we had to put him in every deck.
Yeah.
Which still makes sense.
So
it's free.
Hey, and you can play 7 Snow Flipper Penguins on the board at the same time.
One of them being a 3/3.
Yeah.
With a Telegram.
And if you want to see how that went, watch one of the subscriber special.
There's also a giveaway
win Life
there.
is Strange while you're at it.
Win a free game, play Life is Strange by yourself, then watch us play it. Probably a lot worse than you. Next entity.
Oh God, we've been stuck at some of those puzzles and it was annoying.
Yeah.
Remember when we were like for half an hour trying to figure out that one puzzle and it was just like, oh yeah, rewind
by
time so the thing doesn't drop down first.
Yeah, or it'd be like, get by Mr. Jefferson in that weird ass maze.
Oh, God.
And there's all of a sudden everyone with the flashlights. That took us a legitimate hour to beat that one path.
That last episode was probably the best in the game, and that one puzzle just so takes you out of it.
Yeah, when Max is just like tripping balls on something, whatever, and it's just knocked out and is revisiting.
A lot of great imagery, which is what the game does best, but
yeah,
it's just so frustrating to play through that part.
Yeah, go watch it if you don't know what we're talking about. Next entity would be, you already mentioned it, the Big Cookie. From Cookie Clicker.
Yeah.
Because Cookie Clicker is our thing, man. That was our biggest series, most popular one. Now, of course, it's not...
More coming up.
Yeah, it's not as regular as Hearthstone because there's just not that much to do. But the Big Cookie is the main focus of that game. So there was no other way but to enshrine into the hall.
And while we're talking about gaming and subscribers, as a matter of fact, right before... For our 10 subscriber special, one of the games we played was Fallout 4.
That is true.
Which we started making into a series, which sadly because of technical issues, we never got to play that far. Which, we'll figure that out at some point. Yes. I'll upgrade my computer. We will at some point continue that.
We will play Hearthstone. We will play Fallout again, yeah.
But not soon, probably.
Yeah, but it was something that has left quite an important mark on the channel for a while.
And... one of the characters that we actually really enjoyed.
The character.
But because of a lot of the references we could make, of course, was our player character, Fat Jesus.
Now my question is dog meat gonna be eligible at some point?
Probably.
I mean, he is technically eligible. Are we gonna declare him for the election process? Maybe.
He's definitely in consideration. I don't think he's gonna make it anytime soon.
Yeah, but we'll write him down.
If we pick the series up, it's probably gonna improve his odds a lot.
Yeah, that's true. So he's definitely one of the characters on the waiting list. Fat Jesus, yeah, you kind of have to. See, the thing is, the question that we should ask ourselves is, tell the story of the channel with those 10 people or 10 entities, and under the don't use more than one from one franchise.
And of course, explaining our channel, there's some stuff that you just can't really do.
Right.
There's been stuff like Google Feud, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like pretty much all the browser games you can't really do except for Cookie Clicker.
Should I start Russell Wilson? Should I start Todd Gurley? We need to enshrine those questions to the hall. Not even the people.
Just a question.
Just a question, right?
How old do babies have to be to fight to the death?
Yeah, that's the question.
I was towards Markiplier because apparently that was another question.
Yeah. What are all Google?
Whether or not there is a causal connection between those two, I will not ask.
Maybe there is. You know what? Don't go back and watch all Google Feud videos. They were pretty bad. because the game's pretty bad.
Yeah.
One person that I need to mention that everything wouldn't have worked without would be Jared. That's actually a one real actual for real person, but Jared Emerson Johnson, the man who does the music for the Telltale games.
Implying we didn't have any other real people on there thus far.
AJ Styles.
Yes.
Fair. Okay. But Jared, okay?
Yeah.
He's related to gaming in that case for us.
Yeah.
But he's a real person. So Jared is putting in the work for real. And I've always pointed him out, so he's kind of a running gag now. Not in the bad sense, in actually a good sense. I'm always happy when Jared shows up. So, yeah, man, Jared. All the work.
Talking about talking about real people, talking about music.
Right. That's probably the last one, right?
Maybe. I believe it's the last one on my list, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the last one of the ones that I inducted. It's the band Bon Jovi.
That's the last one.
Like, arguably our favorite band, maybe for you second favorite, I don't know.
Top 3 for sure.
But has thus far been on number 1 on all of our rankings.
Yeah, also probably if we had to pick one theme band for the channel,
The one that definitely comes up the most in conversation, which kind of contrasts our halftime show.
Yes.
And that it's probably the band we most value.
It's maybe not the most underrated one, no.
Maybe sometimes more than deserved, I don't know.
Maybe.
But definitely great.
There's definitely an objective argument to be made for the Beatles to be the greatest band of all time and not Bon Jovi. Yeah. But that's where that little bit of percentage of subjectivity comes into play. So Bon Jovi is also being enshrined into the TrashcanTV Hall of Fame. If you want to know more about that, our little speeches that we gave, inducting the people, handing them their golden jackets and their Hall of Fame rings, and getting them all getting the traditional door knock. We don't do all those traditions. That's just sports stuff. Watch the induction video.
We should in the future start actually inviting the people that we induct into the Hall of Fame, like at least the real ones.
Yeah, like bring Jared and AJ.
Yeah,
Jared and
the entire band of Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
they can play the theme as well.
True. That's true. Also, the good part about this is apparently Jade had already uploaded this video, which I wasn't even aware he did, but apparently he did. So you can go there right now.
Yeah.
You don't even have to wait, so that's even better. Let us know what you think about the inductions and basically everything we talked about. We talked about a lot of shit. But pick out something that we said and tell us what you think about it. The Hearthstone stuff is always a big point of discussion right now. So if you're playing Hearthstone, what do you think? What do you think about the quest, the Hall of Fame? Maybe some people were really mad about Cold Light being moved because like this kind of destroys the concept of Mildex. Little bit.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
I never liked it, man. But some people really swore by the Mildex. I
like the concept of Mildex, and I have in the past played like a version of Milrogue like way back in the day. But I've never been that big into them, and facing them can be really annoying because even if you play like half your hand in one turn, they can still destroy your cards.
Yeah. I was never a huge fan of that.
And Vanish makes it really annoying.
Vanish makes it tough. So, it's still going to be possible, but it's going to be a lot weaker. So the Jades roll out, so the Jade Druid won't do it no more. I might see Warrior becoming the Supreme Mill class.
Well, Warrior wouldn't really mill you as much as they just shuffled their deck full till you naturally draw out yours.
Yeah. But that turns into milling. And they would run Cold Lights too. Which they can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But for example, there's... No, wait, that's not drawing, that's making them cheaper. But the one where he gains 10 armor and makes everything cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
But the Dead Man's Hand running around...
Come at me or something like that? Bring it on.
Bring it on, yeah, exactly. So that type of stuff. So if he's building like 100 armor, and you're just running out of cards, but if you can't provide the firepower, you can run that with the quest too, because first of all, a lot of taunts, you need taunts and the big weapon.
Yeah.
The extra hero power.
I mean, the quest is tough. Once you pull it off,
if
you survive long enough to pull it off and then use the hero power every turn, it's basically like having Ragnarol's.
Guaranteed,
Well, your opponent can't destroy it, but you also have to pay mana for it.
Yeah, but it's Reggie.
It's kind of balanced.
It's Reggie. So, yeah. Okay, so thank you for watching. That's all we needed to talk about for now. That's
songs.
Fucking hell. This is going on for a while.
We've had longer ones, I believe.
We've had longer ones, okay.
Because the second topic was really short. Because we made it kind of short.
With the Hall of Fame.
Because the halftime show was so long.
Halftime show was long, first topic also was long.
Arguably would have worked better if we swapped those two.
The topics? Or the actual like halftime show?
Halftime show and the second topic.
Possible.
I believe the halftime show was longer than the second topic.
We never specified that the halftime show needs to be longer than the second topic.
But it's kind of implied.
Well, yeah, but I mean, who cares? The Super Bowl halftime show is pretty long.
Fair.
It was probably as long as our halftime show. Not that our second topic was as long as the second half of the Super Bowl. But then again, we're not as exciting as the Eagles smacking the Patriots.
I have to admit, that was pretty good.
It was pretty damn good. What's your song of the week?
My song of the week is You Get What You Give by the New Radicals.
I have never in my life heard of that song or band ever before.
That's actually one thing as well. Because
you do also not get what you give. That's not logical.
Of course, but I've actually recently, when I was rewatching the second season of Lucifer, which of course you don't care about, that song played, and I was like, I know that song, and I couldn't for the life of me come up with that title.
Alright, and you just looked it up.
So yeah, of course, I had to look it up, and I had that in my playlist.
You did
I just did not. I could not have told the band or title.
How do you not know that when you got it in you? It's
one of 800 songs.
That's a no-no. You should know that. You should know everything you have in a playlist. I mean, I'm sorry, but come on now. Anyway, you could put it in the music share. Maybe I'll listen
This one, it's one of those where it's a good song, not necessarily a great one.
Okay, one of those.
But it definitely slips under the radar.
Okay.
And of course, because it actually related to my week, I thought it would make sense to have it as the song of the week.
Okay, this one, well, I think, did I use Californication before? I might have.
And if so, you probably use it early on, in which case it would be in the spreadsheet that I haven't updated in ages.
Right.
That actually
I'm not going to use it, but that would be like the one that I told you that like I bought the most stock in. But there's another one that I have been buying a lot of stock, and you should know it too. It wasn't a music share. It's Pride of the Summer by Runrig.
Okay.
Which is my song of the week. I really like it. It's upbeat. It's fun. It reminds you of the summer, obviously. See if I used it before.
I was actually looking at that, and I don't
think so, right?
see it.
Maybe I used it in a bit more recent one, because this only goes up to podcast 26.
25 actually, but yeah.
25, right, because of the listing. Okay, so that's missing like 10 podcasts.
Yeah.
So maybe I used it before, maybe I didn't. We can need to update that, but if not, I'm going to use it again. Even if I did, I'm going to use it again. It's a great song. Pride of the Summer by Rondig is my song of the week for today. And is that now enough? Like, have we worked through everything?
Yeah, sure.
Can I finally go to die in peace?
Again, the playlist link in the description if you want to send us songs.
Yeah, and sub special, 100 sub special, 7 Snow Flipper on the board challenge. Go check that out if you want to. That's a giveaway for free games on the Steam. And we would appreciate it if you took a look at that. And thank you for watching now. JJ.
That's it.
That's it.